Cornell on the other side has had quite the turnaround under Trudy Vandenberg, who's in her 5th season. There's a team that's finished 3rd in the Ivy League in each of the last 2 seasons. And get this, from 2007 to 2015, this Big Red volleyball team, 63 and 159 over that. So Trudy Vandenberg has done an outstanding job for up at Cornell. 500 or better in each of their last 3 seasons. All right, just about time for National Anthem. But we're going to go through that, and when we come back, we'll have starting lineups and volleyball from McEwen Pavilion on the WCC Network. On a Friday evening, glad you're with us from McEwen Pavilion. On a Friday evening, I'm Alex Jensen next to Andy Schroeder before St. Mary's and Cornell. And Andy, let's get into the Gaels first here. This is a kind of a rebuilt roster. They lost 4 key seniors a year ago. They started the season 2-4. Now, the first weekend for Rob Browning's team was no walk in the park. A 1-2 record against Utah, Cal Poly, and Kentucky. Last weekend, though, maybe the Gaels left something on the table.
Yeah, first weekend, Alex, losing to Utah, Pac-12. Cal Poly, good win. Kentucky, obviously, top 10. Last weekend, I believe they were up 2-0 against Southern Utah and ended up losing the next 3. And then same with Boise State. So Southern Utah had turned the tables on them from the previous year. And then went with a win against Middle Tennessee. But as we talked before we got on the air here, they're kind of, a lot of these kids have kind of been role players, so they're having to step into the main cog roles here at St. Mary's.
And the 2 hitters you really want to focus on here, because with so much firepower from a year ago, now walking out the door when you talk about Lindsey Knudsen and Lindsey Calvin and Sarah Chase, Emily Bible at the libero spot. We'll get into that a little bit more. But it seems like that production, at least from the outside, is going to fall on 2 shoulders. Sienna Young, who's played that role before, but one player that I think everyone around here is pretty excited about is the local product, Brayan Ashley.
Yeah, Bray having a unbelievable start, 177 attempts so far, 71 kills with just 30 airs. I know they want her to be a little less air prone, but she has started off on fire and definitely can hit on both pins. Alex, Sienna Young obviously has done an unbelievable job here at St. Mary's over her career.
Cornell, Andy, is 2-1. They're coming off a 13-10 season a year ago. They were 9-5 in the Ivy League. They're coming off a loss against Hartford, but this is a program that has made some significant strides, as we talked about in the open of this broadcast over the last handful of years under Trudy Vandenberg.
Yeah, I mean, finishing 3rd in the Ivy, we talked with Trudy before the game, finished 3rd in the Ivy is a great feat. I mean, it's a very, very competitive league. A lot of the kids around the country get great grades. Ivy Leagues where a lot of people want to go, maybe everybody. And yeah, I mean, 3rd, she obviously wants to push in front of that this year and maybe win the league. She doesn't think it's too far away where the Ivy League might possibly be a 2-bid NCAA league. But right now, the Ivy League is pretty much strictly a 1-bid league. So you got to win the league to get in the tournament.
And it's been 2 teams in the Ivy League that have really dominated things over the last decade. Yale and Princeton have either won or shared each of the last 9 Ivy League titles.
Yeah, they've had a juggernaut. They've had a juggernaut on the Ivy League, the Ancient Eight, as they call it back there, and 2 great programs. But she certainly has done a heck of a job here. She's been an assistant coach, 2012 to 14, and then took over head coach duties 15 on. So done a heck of a job here, and she loves it up there and has some rescue dogs, and it's all good for her, I guess.
You got the whole story, didn't you?
Got the whole story.
2017 Ivy League Coach of the Year, Trudy Vanderberg. For Rob Browning, he's 214 and 179, entering his 15th season here at St. Mary's. How about that?
Yeah, it seems like just yesterday Stevenson was moving on. They brought in Rob, and the program has been in great hands since Rob got here, and obviously doing a super job when we get to the spring with the beach program as well.
Let's get to our starting lineups. First for the visiting Big Red, it's Joanna Chang, Zoe Shamness with Madison Baptiste, Jada Stackhouse, Jenna Phelps, and Avery Hannon. Lily Barber is the libero for the Big Red. And for St. Mary's, Bray Ashley, Sienna Young, Alex O'Sullivan, Crash Parker, the freshman Elena Baca out of Greece, and Jennifer Boo Laird. Kelsey Knudsen is the libero for the Gaels. Andy, what is this younger, well, I say young, they're not really young, but compared to last year's team, what does this group take away from their first NC2A berth since 2012, St. Mary's?
That's a great question, Alex. I mean, I think you take away, Emily Bible, my goodness, Lindsay Knudsen, Lindsay Calvin, Sarah Chase, just, what they meant to this program, and to try to carry that forward as they move into the season. What they're looking for now is people to emerge and to be those players. Good to have, by the way, Kelsey Knudsen back from an ACL that we saw happen here about last year at this time.
Crash Parker serving to get us underway. She led the West Coast Conference in aces last year with 50, and going cross court, well, that's Avery Hannon, the sophomore out of Carlsbad, California, and Cornell gets on the board first.
Yeah, great inside-out swing by Avery Hannon there.
Cornell in the scarlet red, St. Mary's in the white. That's Joanna Chang serving, and Sienna Young just wide.
So Alex, in our viewing audience out there, St. Mary's will be in a 5-1 tonight with Crash Parker handling all of the setting duties.
Chang serving again. Young cross court, and Cornell with the violation, and the Gaels were on the board. So explain to our audience here, Andy, a 5-1 versus a 6-2. Benefits, drawbacks?
Well, 5-1, typically you're going to get a little more consistency. So you got one person handling basically every set, except for that last play there where you're out of system. Maybe libero steps in and sets. So you get some good consistency, Alex, real quick. 6-2, you're running 2 setters, maybe a little less consistency. But at 5-1, you only have 2 hitters, 3 rotations. That's the downside of the 5-1. 6-2, of course, you got 3 hitters in every rotation.
And the 1 and the 2, of course, talking about the number of setters.
Right, exactly.
This is the libero, Lily Barber. That last swing off the St. Mary's block, out to Sienna Young on the near pin. Cornell on top 3-1. Opening set in what is the Bay Area Invitational. And again, that's Hannon from the far side, and Cornell's got 4 of the first 5 points.
Lily Barber, the libero out of Corte Madera, California, Absolute Volleyball Club, with a nice pickup there off the block to enable Cornell to get that point.
There are 4 teams in the Bay Area Invitational. Now, USF is hosting matches as well. And in fact, Cornell, Alex O'Sullivan is sent back. And Cornell has now scored 5 of the first 6 points. Cornell will have a doubleheader tomorrow here in the morning against Utah State. And they will drive across the Bay Bridge in the evening to play USF.
Yeah, tomorrow is supposed to be pretty nice, so they'll have a beautiful drive across the Bay Bridge over to USF.
Tough serve, and a free ball for the Big Red. And once again, Avery Hannon, her 3rd kill, and a good start for the Big Red.
Yeah, Avery Hannon with a nice swing on the right side. She is one of their opposites. I believe Cornell, we haven't got to that rotation yet, but it looks like they're going to be in a 6-2 tonight, at least to start.
Barber serving again. And that's Elena Baca just inside the line. The freshman out of Greece, her first kill. Good all-around player, Elena Baca.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Cornell has decided they're going to serve Bray Ashley, at least for the start of the game, and Bray Ashley's responding with some pretty nice passing.
Here's Kelsey Knudsen, and as a true freshman, nice block there by Boo Laird just into the ball game, sending back Jada Stackhouse. 2 straight for St. Mary's. Now Kelsey Knudsen, Andy, as a true freshman, she had won the starting libero role before going down to an ACL.
Right, yeah. It was about a year ago right now, right, Alex?
Enough to get a red shirt here, as this time Madison Baptiste sends it off the St. Mary's block. A point for the Big Red. Couple of red jerseys into the lineup now. Jillian Bennett into the front row, and back to serve, Emma Worthington.
So Cornell is in a 6-2 to start this match. Another good pass by Bray Ashley.
Baca off the block. Out to Young this time, and that's off the tape and down. And Young will now come off, and Selby Christensen will enter the lineup. A sophomore out of Kaiser, Oregon, did not play last year due to injury. Baca. 8-3 Cornell. Quick set for Boo Laird. Good rally here, 50-50. And the point will go to St. Mary's. Looked like Worthington kind of cradled that ball a little bit.
Referee took a little while to blow her whistle. I was wondering if she's going to blow her whistle there, but yeah, definite lift. And so Sienna comes back on now to serve for Shelby.
Early returns, Cornell hitting 500 for this first set. St. Mary's at an even 0. Quick set, and Ashley right there. Nice play by Joanna Chang in the back row. Far pin, good swing. That's number 5, Jillian Bennett, sophomore out of Chicago.
Nice swing for Jillian there. Looks like St. Mary's has got their work cut out for them tonight, Alex. Cornell comes out on fire here, playing really good ball, up 9-4.
Madison Baptiste serving. A freshman Baca again. There's a nice tip from the freshman.
Good dump from Elena, the kid from Greece.
Does that show some maturity as a freshman there, Andy? I mean, not going all out with that swing and just finding a soft spot?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to mix it up. Keep those defenders guessing as to what's going to happen out there.
Baca now serving. And a freshman out of Greece. Bennett's tip covered by Laird. And there is Bray Ashley. That's a tough swing to stop.
Yeah, the ball comes off her hands just a little bit quicker than so she's an incredible Division I hitter. Go ahead. Going to be a mainstay here at St. Mary's here for the next 3 years.
She's a sophomore, over 3 kills a set for Bray Ashley. She's got 71 on the year. Both numbers lead the Gaels. Ashley again.
Another great swing. Great pickup by Cornell as well.
And Chang on the near side. Gets Cornell to double digits. Jada Stackhouse, a senior on this Big Red team out of Milwaukee. She is serving. Back row attack for Baca. You like what you see from the freshman so far?
To the untrained eye, it looks a little bit like they're in a 6-2 rotations there, but that's a set to Baca out of the back middle. They call it the pipe at about the 9-foot line. Great swing by Baca. Right now you have Crashes on the right side setting with Alexa and Bray hitting left side.
Abby Matoso serving. She's worked her way into kind of a serving specialist role. That's just in front of us, and it's going to land a point for Cornell.
So Cornell sighting out at a pretty high clip, right? What are they hitting right now, Alex?
412.
412, yeah. They're sighting at a really high clip right now.
Gaels are starting to play a little better, though, it looks off to a slow start. Now, part of that was Cornell, I think, but St. Mary's now hitting 188. They've got 3 kills from Baca. Cornell with 3 from Avery Hannon. Hannon is back in there in the front row as a part of the 6-2 rotation. Bray Ashley. And that is Ashley's second kill.
And run that real quick set out to the pin. And, Bray loves that quick set out there.
Here's Crash Parker. The Gaels have not scored more than 2 points in a row yet in this first set. This is a good candidate to do so, and Crash Parker, just like that, picks up her 12th ace already, Andy, of the year. We're in match number 7.
Yeah, I think Crash was their best server by percentage last year, and they're picking up a number of aces as well.
50 aces last year for Parker, and that's her second in a row. And it brings the Gaels to within 1.
So she goes hard into the 5-6 first and then dumps the ball into that zone 4 there in front of the 10-foot line. See what she's going to do here.
That's 3 in a row for St. Mary's. Parker. That's off the top of the St. Mary's block, and another good swing for Hannon. And that's 4 now for Hannon. Came into the match, Andy, averaging just over a kill and a half per set. She's got 4.
Yeah, nice first set for her. Great pass there by Madison Baptiste out of Austin, Texas, Westlake High School.
Tough serve from Joanna Chang. Here's Ashley again, and just in down the near side in the back corner.
See, that's the gift for Bray Ashley. She can hit so well in either pin. I mean, she can hit line or angle from either pin, and she's also real good out of the middle as well. Very, very versatile.
And she is serving now. Far side. Hannon is sent back, and it's Elena Baca. And just like that, Andy, Gaels have scored 5 of the last 6, and we're tied at 12. Tough serve from Ashley. That is Baptiste going too strong, and the Gaels have their first lead of this first set, 13-12.
Cornell's passing, breaking down just a little bit here. St. Mary's taking advantage of it with some in-system digging.
Shamness back into the game for Cornell. Free ball for St. Mary's. Baca again.
So, Alex, it's the first time we've seen the Gaels this year, and Cornell's, Trudy's going to call a timeout for the Big Red. But the first time we've seen St. Mary's this year, and really impressed by Elena Baca. She looks great out there.
Gaels have scored 7 of the last 8 points. A timeout taken by Cornell. We'll take the break here on the WCC Network. Back here at McEwen Pavilion, Andy, the Gaels have made a nice run. They've scored 7 of the last 8. Their hitting percentage all the way up to 300. How have they done it?
Well, they're getting some good looks on defense now because they're getting Cornell out of system on serve receive, which is really helping. They're just finding their way here.
Bray Ashley, there's a good pass from Cornell, but the block there for St. Mary's, and it's Alex O'Sullivan. And Alex O'Sullivan last season, 106 blocks. That was tops on the club.
She's a blocking machine, especially for her size. A little undersized for Division I, but just does a tremendous job.
Now a redshirt senior is Alex O'Sullivan, and great story. She sends that one back, but covered by Cornell. And now they'll set up the attack for O'Sullivan from the middle.
Very pickup by the libero there.
That one kept alive by Knudsen and Young in a back row attack. Baptiste, too strong. Well, just like that now, St. Mary's was down 11-7 at one point. They now lead 16-12.
You see it just in the hitting percentages. Cornell hitting now 200. They were up over 400.
Yeah, that one not close off the hand of Hannon. The Gaels now are on a 7-0 run.
Cornell just kind of self-destructing here a little bit, Alex. They got to get their service seed back in play and start moving the set around a little bit.
And Ashley with a service error. That's the first of the match. And Cornell gets a badly needed point and a side out.
Good run by Bray, though, from the service line.
7 in a row.
Yeah.
Baca. That is kill number 5 for the freshman here in set number 1.
Let's point out Crash Parker there, the setter, with great location off that pass that was about the 20-foot line.
They're coming to practice the other day as Kelsey Knudsen serves. And once again, it's Hannon, and this one is in down the near side. Hannon's 5th kill. Coming to practice the other day, Andy. Tell you what, Crash Parker in her senior season, she has become a vocal leader for the St. Mary's team.
Out of everybody coming back, she's probably had the most playing time, playing experience. And since she's run the 5-1, they need her to lead.
Emma Worthington with a good serve. Now Worthington will set. And sent back is Bennett. And once again, Elena Baca right in the middle of it, right next to Boo Laird. That is the 4th block of the first set for St. Mary's. And they're up 19-14.
Good swing, good aggressive swing by Bennett there. Left-hander on the right side.
Tough serve from Sienna Young. This is going to turn into a chance for St. Mary's. Good dig. Pass by Knudsen. Baca again. Took a little something off at that time, Andy, and rolled it in the back row.
Yeah. Hit that 1-6 gap back there. Very difficult to defend that. Another great swing by Baca.
And another timeout taken by Cornell. Baca now with 6 kills to go along with 2 blocks.
Yeah, 2 outsides are just dominating for St. Mary's. Absolutely dominating Bray Ashley and Elena Baca.
Should mention as well, Bray Ashley, probably should have brought this up at the beginning, but Bray Ashley is riding a 3-match streak of double-doubles. She has been dominant. Again, the numbers, 3.09 kills per set and 2.3 digs per set. Now for Baca on the year, has really got it going on a consistent basis this year, just under 2 kills per set for her. But she looks the part here in this one so far.
Yeah, she looks great. If they get this kind of production out of her, it's going to change things for them. The 5-1 makes some sense, with Sienna Young. Sienna Young hasn't really got going tonight like she can. We've seen her over the years just absolutely dominate matches on both the right and left side, specifically the right more so. But see what happens here as they come out of this timeout. They're up 20-14, quite a turnaround from being down 9-4.
Sienna Young got off to a little bit of a rough start in this first set. A few errors early.
Looks like the chemistry out there, the family atmosphere, the character, the teammateness, it all looks good. Obviously they're winning, but I think that they, Rob always brings in character.
Young from the service line. She's in her senior season now out of Elk Grove. That's a nice shot from the sophomore, Madison Baptiste, out of Austin, Texas.
That's a great shot. That's just such a tough ball to defend into those gaps, that 1-6 gap, that 5-6 gap.
Well, since Cornell was up 11-7 as Boo Laird runs the slide, picked up nicely. Since Cornell was up 11-7, St. Mary's has gone on a 13, make it 14-4 run, and it's Baca again.
They've done it pretty much with the left sides. It's a great slide by Jennifer Boo Laird there. For those of you at home watching right now, they are in the 5-1 rotation with Crash on the right, Jennifer Boo Laird in the middle, and Bray now on the left side. So they're in a 2-hitter attack.
Elena Baca serving now. She's accounted for the last 4 St. Mary's points, and a wide open window for Joanna Chang, who puts it away.
Great swing by Joanna Chang there.
Jada Stackhouse. Ashley, man. You want to talk about a freshman and a sophomore that have got some potential. They're both showing out here in the first set.
That's some serious velocity there. And Bray Ashley down the line. Giving to the line, she takes it. No one home.
Abby Matoso serving, and when asked about improved players, this was the first one out of Rob Browning's mouth. She's worked her way into a specialist role. Crash Parker tries the dump. Here's Chang again, and she is sent back. Oh, Sullivan and Parker right there on the near side.
Great blocking. They're really just cutting off the angles for Cornell, giving them pretty much nowhere to swing. Doing a really good job of getting in front of the hitter.
Block number 5 of the first set.
It's a great serve by Abby.
Young, back row, picked up by the libero there, Lily Barber. Swing by Bennett now. Good rally here. And Alex O'Sullivan puts it down.
That's a great swing by Alex, turning line there, meaning to her left. And for the viewers at home, when Bray Ashley picks up that ball over the top of the block, they really have no one to set. That's why Crash, I think it was Crash, went to the right side there, Sienna Young.
That went just long off of Abby Matoso. The second service error for St. Mary's. Still set point.
This is where you want to stick a pass. Crash has got a couple hitters here to look at. Alex O'Sullivan and, of course, Bray on the left side with Elena Baca coming out of the pipe.
Shamnes serving, and it's into the net, and set number 1 goes to St. Mary's. The Gaels hit .344 for that first set. 5 blocks, 7 kills, 11 kills combined from Elena Baca and Bray Ashley. And I think after a slow start, Andy, exactly what you wanted to see from Rob Browning in his first home match here at McEwen Pavilion.
Great business-like effort for the Gaels. Yeah, they got off to a slow start, a little shaky on the passing, whatnot, and then, dialed it in. The passing got really great. Defensive touches were good. The blocking was good. Everything was good after that. From about 9-4 on, they really locked into what they had to do, and as a result, what was it, 25-17. Cornell is capable of playing good ball, and as we saw last year, these teams, you reset the score to 0, and things change. So we'll see what Cornell can do, and see if she makes any changes coming out of the first set here.
Set number 1 in the books. It goes to St. Mary's, 25-17. We'll take a break, come back with set number 2 on the WCC Network. And Andy Schroeder with you here on the WCC Network for the home opener here at McEwen Pavilion on the campus of St. Mary's College, and the Gaels with a 1-0 lead, 25-17 over Cornell. The Big Red, Andy, got off to a very good start in set number one. And this is a team that's used to winning. I mean, 2 straight third-place finishes in the Ivy League. They returned 3 second-team All-Ivy Leaguers. One of them, though, not playing tonight, Samantha Arenas, 2.5 kills per set and almost 3.5 digs per set, an all-around player for the Big Red.
Now, she has, according to Trudy, she has strained an ab. And, you know, when you strain an ab, you know, we don't know, who knows how long she's going to be out for. The other thing to note about the Ivy is that they start 2 solid weeks after all the other Division I programs. So they only have 1 week under their belt right now.
Now, Arenas is on the court, Andy, to start this second set. So good sign for the Big Red.
Fantastic. Great to see her.
Jillian Bennett, also second team All-Ivy League a year ago. She leads this team in kills right now with 30, as was Jenna Phelps, the middle out of Kansas. All 3 of those players, by the way. Well, Bennett a sophomore, but Arenas and Phelps both seniors. And that is Shamness serving to begin, and Joanna Chang, pardon me, with a block on the far side. And Cornell with a 1-0 lead here in set number 2.
Joanna Chang, just a freshman out of Cleveland, Ohio.
There's Bray Ashley right through the block of the aforementioned Jenna Phelps and Avery Hannon. That's kill number 5 for Ashley. And Crash Parker will serve. Parker with 2 aces so far in the match. As you mentioned right there, Andy, getting the Big Red out of system. Good play at the net, though, and that was the all-leaguer from last year, Jenna Phelps in the middle.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a sloppy play by both teams there. You'd like to see Cornell get a swing off that pass as opposed to bumping over the net, but the libero, Lily Barber, does a nice job in dumping that in the 2. And
off the tape and down for Joanna Chang, the freshman. And she has her first ace, the first ace of the night for Cornell.
Joanna Chang doing a nice job for the Big Red.
Again, back to serve, finds Bray Ashley. Back row attack, Baca. Quick set. And the Gaels are gonna have to play D. On the slide, they keep it alive. And it turns into a point. Kelsey Knudsen just trying to keep the play alive. Finds a little soft spot in the Cornell defense.
Great swing by Jenna Phelps. I mean, she did a nice job at just wristing that ball straight down. But yeah, great job by Kelsey Knudsen there to keep that ball alive.
That went off the antenna. It's a good swing there by Hannon.
A great magical type set from Zoe there to get that ball out to her. That ball was right into the net. Nice job there by Zoe to handle that pass.
By Hannon, pardon me. There's a solo block for Alex O'Sullivan.
Cornell totally in system there. Samantha Arenas with a beautiful pass.
Bray Ashley serving. There is Arenas. And they set up O'Sullivan again. Arenas, kill number 1 in the match for her. Good to see her back out there.
We have Samantha at a Pembroke Pines, Florida, plus Broward High School. She is a senior, so good to see her on the court.
The libero, Libby Barber, native of the Bay Area, Corda Madera, and Elena Baca from the near side.
And Cornell's got to figure out a way to stop St. Mary's left side. It's going to be over quickly. They're just really teeing off on that left side.
Gaels for the match hitting .308. Cornell down to .068 for the match. Cornell really had a rough stretch in that first set, but there's a point. Jada Stackhouse, little quick set in the middle, and Stackhouse just kind of pushed it into an open area.
Yeah, Jada Stackhouse, he's also a senior out of Milwaukee, Shorewood High School.
Emma Worthington.
So Cornell remains in their 6-2.
Boulaird will be a point for the Gaels. You know, Boulaird, in her sophomore year last year, really had some moments when it looked like she could be a real difference maker.
Yeah, I might call her, Alex, the X factor this year. I mean, I think she can, she's a dynamic athlete.
Arenas, and that looked like an all-league type of swing there.
Yeah. So Boulaird, going back to her, yeah, she is a junior this year, and she's capable of doing it all. So look for some big numbers for her. And Rob and the group is going to need big numbers from her in the WCC.
Gaels on the net. Looked like Boulaird got it in the middle. 7-6. So you talked about the WCC, and a banner year for the league last year, showcasing incredible depth, sending half of their teams, Andy, to the NCAA tournament. 5 WCC teams, 5 of the 10 to the round of 64.
Yeah.
And not probably as deep this year as Bennett, a nice swing from the right side, the lefty. That's kill number 2 for Bennett. And Cornell up 8-6, but that number, as Arenas back to serve, that number for the WCC, that's 3rd best in the country, tied with the SEC behind just the Pac-12. There's another point for Cornell behind just the Pac-12 and the Big Ten.
And somebody reminded me, you know, the WCC is probably one of the top 4 or 5 programs in the country. So, I mean, it's a, as St. Mary's struggles a little bit to serve receive here. But yeah, the WCC is a strong league, and they didn't just get to the tournament, Alex. They all represented the WCC in a big way. Obviously, BYU making it, I believe, to the semis last year, where they ended up getting knocked out.
If I remember correctly, Cornell's on a nice run here. If I remember correctly, St. Mary's the only team, as Joanna Chang picks up the 6th straight point for the Big Red. If I remember correctly, St. Mary's was the only team to go out in that first round, playing Washington in Omaha.
And that was in 5. Rob questioning a call. I thought he was going to be calling a timeout here. He likes to reserve his timeout, so he's just questioning a call. We'll see if he calls a timeout. But Gaels on a pretty good, or excuse me, the Big Red on a pretty good run here, up 11-6, and he will call.
He's going to challenge a net fault here.
That is new in the WCC this year, right, Alex?
That is new this year, yes.
We will need to get versed on that. I don't know how many challenges you get. I'm assuming like 3 a match, maybe something like that.
And we'll get that answer for you at intermission. So Rob Browning challenging the net fault on St. Mary's. For the time being, the Gaels are down by 5 here in the second set. Started off back and forth after the Gaels won set number 1, 25-17. Cornell has scored 6 straight.
Yeah, just a little bit of sloppy play here by the Gaels. They've kind of lost their concentration with it, lost their focus. A little disappointing because there's not going to be a lot of margin of error for the Gaels this year, especially as you get into WCC. There wasn't a lot last year, and that was a senior-driven team.
So we're getting a look at the challenge review system here, the reviewable plays in the West Coast Conference. A ball that is called in or out, including pancake digs. Whether ball was touched by a player before it goes out of bounds. Whether or not there was a fault, which is what Rob Browning is challenging here. Whether or not a back row attacker takes off on or in front of the attack line, and whether or not there was a service foot fault. So those are your reviewable plays. You've got 5 of them up there.
Yeah. It's nice to have. I think it is because the game is so fast, and the micro touches, and you know, if you do want to use one of those and you get that micro touch, you know, it's important. It's important that these refs, as good as they are, they cannot possibly get all the calls correctly.
Well, we knew this was coming this year, too. Was it the Mountain West that first introduced this system, or maybe the SEC? I can't remember. There was a conference a couple of years ago, so St. Mary's actually won that challenge, and the score now 10-7.
Yeah, that's a big play there by Rob. That's a 2-point turnaround, right? It was 11-6, now 10-7, and Gaels will be serving as well.
We should mention, by the way, Andy, that run for Cornell came with Samantha Arenas, who missed most of that first set at the service line.
Yeah, obviously a player they're heavily counting on here to make their run in the Ivy. in 2019.
Well, here's Elena Baca, who has been nothing if not impressive so far tonight. The freshman out of Greece, serving. Bennett's tip, nice play. The sophomore.
Great serve by Elena Baca, handled really, really nicely by Samantha, and just an incredible touch right there by Jillian Bennett. A little teardrop over the top of the block. Very tough to defend that.
Jada Stackhouse to serve. Cornell leading by 4 here in the second set. And there's your X factor, Jennifer Boulaird from the right side.
And that rotation there, she's actually hitting middle, but she can hit where she wants. So she elects to hit on the right side, the pin over there. Does a nice job with the kill.
Abby Matoso will serve.
And she's got a really nice serve, Alex.
That was nasty there. Picked up by Barber. And Chang going wide, but a Gale on the net. So the point to Cornell, and they lead by 4 again here in the second set.
Those nets really can add up on you. I mean, you want to be really aggressive, but you cannot touch the net in any fashion, form. It's point for the other team.
Hainan back into the front row, and Zoe Shamness out of Eugene, Oregon will serve. There's Bray Ashley, and that was all set up by the pass. The serve received by Kelsey Knudsen, it looked like.
And I know you interviewed Rob this week, and Rob, I talked to Mandy also. I mean, they're really, really happy with the serve receive. Serve receive sets up everything in this game of volleyball.
Well, the Gaels really struggled a couple years ago, Andy, as Bray Ashley serves. That was the part of the game that was lacking. Nice swing there by Hainan from the left side.
Another in-system play. We call it the golden circle, which is, again, kind of where the logo is out there on your side of the net. Anything in that circle would be considered a great pass. You run your offense, all 3 hitters.
Joanna Chang serving, and this time it's Bray Ashley from the middle.
What a great pass there by the Gaels, staying in system once again. Yeah, Bray showing her versatility. The hitters that Rob has all are very, very versatile. Can do anything.
Ashley serving and running the slide is Cornell for Jenna Phelps, and there once again is Elena Baca going cross court once again from the left side, and the Gaels within 2.
A nice play by Kelsey Knudsen to keep that ball alive. It's kind of a nice swing there by the middle 22. I want to point out one last thing there, Alex. It's a great out-of-system set by Bray Ashley to give Elena Baca that swing, and then nice serve there by Bray Ashley as well.
Ashley picking up the ace. Gaels 3rd on the day, first by someone not named Crash Parker. This blocked, but out of bounds.
High IQ hit by Samantha there off the top of the hands. It's kind of chiseling, as we call it, or tooling the block out to her left side, out of bounds.
Lily Barber, the libero, serving. Probably plenty of family and friends in the stands tonight. Nice swing there by Sienna Young. She's been quiet. That's a tough swing, kind of turning it inside out on the right side.
She does that as well as anybody I have ever seen in the girls' game. It's unreal. Approaches from way outside the right side and turns that ball back down the line as well as anybody.
Kelsey Knudsen, tough serve, and the 4th ace of the match for St. Mary's.
Samantha, a great passer. Just didn't quite get the angle set there in time.
Ties it at 14. Blocked, covered. Chance for Cornell here. And Baca just a little strong. Good rally.
She got a touch, I think, Alex. The lines person on the St. Mary's
side. Oh, they got a touch.
Yeah, they got a little touch there. Great Division I rally. Good back and forth between Cornell and the Gaels there.
Trudy Vandenberg. Now, I think Cornell is going to challenge this play. And they're going to challenge whether there was a touch.
I'm going to tell you right now, Alex, that there was. The eyes aren't what they used to be, Alex, but I think the ref made the right call there. I believe there was a touch there. We'll see what happens.
If there was a touch, it'll be the 10th kill of the evening for Elena Baca. So the WCC this year, Andy, I don't think people are expecting it to be quite as strong as it was a year ago. BYU is not, in the discussion for number one in the country, at least as of right now. They're the only West Coast Conference team in the top 25. San Diego is receiving votes. Pepperdine's had a strong start. What do you make of this league this year? I mean, I think this should be a multi-bid league again, but as we've seen in league play, I mean, everyone's going to beat up on each other, especially in the top half of the league.
It's tough. I mean, anybody. I mean, USF has struggled over the last few years. They're 3-3 right now, I believe. I mean, it's just a matter of bringing your A game every single night, especially when you go on the road. You've got to hold serve when you're at home, and when you go on the road, you got to try to get at least half of them. But Pepperdine, yeah, I mean, I think they're picked to finish third. St. Mary's obviously fifth, but once again at the top, it's BYU. McKenna Miller back, the kid that tore ACL that last year, which unfortunately could have prevented them from winning the national championship.
Yeah. Still went to the Final Four.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, just what a program they have out there, and they just reload every year. San Diego as well. San Diego's had some pretty tough competition so far this year. That's why they got kind of knocked out of the top 25. But
well, they reversed the call.
Okay, I was wrong, Alex.
Saying no touch. Remember, you have to have irrefutable evidence to overturn the call. So, our lead official tonight, deeming that was that's Catherine Rogers.
So both challenges have been good. I mean, the one Rob challenged, he won, and then Trudy there winning that challenge. That was a big point for Cornell there. A great rally. Nice to see them kind of rewarded with that point.
Worthington serving. Right back to Baca in the same spot. And Elena Baca, that's kill number 10. And that's 2 straight matches now for Baca in double digits in kills. She had 13 against Middle Tennessee. And that's an ace for Sienna Young. So the Gaels back on top now.
This is where it happens, from 15 all. This is where the magic happens, right, Alex? I mean, you've got to be able to pass the ball from 15 all in.
There's a good pass. And Jada Stackhouse slams it down.
And we're doing more and more in that in the women's game now, where you're just taking that ball and, basically it sits on your fingertips just for a split second. It's just thrown down in the court. Almost an impossible ball to pick up. That's a pretty athletic play by Stackhouse there.
Arena serving. Boulard. Chang sent back, and there's Boulard at the net. Her third block of the day.
Gail's doing a good job of picking the ball up. Call that ball hitter. Fronting the hitter, getting right in front of that hitter, making that hitter hit one way or the other.
St. Mary's back on top by 1, and Baca, third service error of the day on St. Mary's.
And senior Jada Stackhouse back to serve here. 17 all, Alex.
And Baca, again, too strong.
Great decision by Crash there. Baca's got to just take a little bit off that and hit that into one of the gaps, and that goes down.
Rob Browning, at practice earlier this week, the one I was at, the emphasis was on keeping the ball in. Make sure it's a ball that your opponent has to play. Meanwhile, for the Gaels, of Cornell's last 5 points, 3 of them have been due to errors. And the Big Red up 2. There's a nice play by Stackhouse, but a little too strong underneath the net.
That's a play Cornell would like to have back. It's a nice pickup there. But yeah, you're right, Alex. I mean, you want to you want to be as aggressive as possible. It's kind of like a little bit like any other sport. It's red light, green light. Green light, you're going after that swing. Red light, maybe you're being a little more conservative and keeping that ball in play.
Abby Matoso serving. Bennett tip. And sent back. 2 blockers right there for Ashley. And Jenna Phelps looks like she got her left paw on it, sends it back.
Yeah, great. KC Power, Eucharist, Kansas City. Jenna Phelps, great block. Putting the Cornell Big Red now up 20-18 here. Gaels are going to have to lock in here. First thing they got to do is pass this next ball. Try to keep consistent, get a side out.
Well, of course, a big second set, as is every second set. Ashley sent back. Parker now going to O'Sullivan.
And you get a look to go up 21-18. Ashley, the big block, huge play.
Her first block of the day, solo block on the near side, and that's a big point. Instead of being down by 3, the Gaels are now within 1.
All the advantage and all the momentum was with the Big Red there, and Bray Ashley with a big block there.
And now look who's serving, Crash Parker. That one hit the top of the tape, and the point goes to St. Mary's. It's like a lift on Cornell.
The thing is that the blocker has to have at least 1% of the ball, Alex. It looked like it was coming down on St. Mary's side, but ultimately it came down on Big Red's side. She's got to crush that ball or throw it down one way or the other.
That was a tough serve, Joanna Chang. And nice play. Jenna Phelps. Little tip into the front row.
Can I say, Alex, that Samantha Arenas makes a big difference for this team. Just the stability in this match, the passing, the defense, and of course her hitting. Big difference.
It's been good from the service line too. There's Bray Ashley to the back row. Tying it at 21. Bray Ashley's 8th kill.
Tough ball to hit. Tough ball to hit. That little red that comes out there, comes across your body. You got to hit it with your right hand. Nice swing by Bray.
There's a service error this time, and that was Bray Ashley back at the line. So Cornell back up by 1, 22-21.
Need a good serve here by Lily Barber.
Nice play there by Crash Parker, keeping it alive. Arenas off the block and down. Big point for Cornell. They go up by 2, 23-21 here in the second set.
Really good volleyball by Cornell right now. Like I said, Arenas, huge difference.
Libero, Barber.
Cornell with another look right here.
It's Arenas, and it's too strong.
Well, that's a green light set, Alex. No question. You want her taking a good rip at that ball. Just got underneath it a little bit, and the ball's a foot out. A good swing for Samantha.
Kelsey Knudsen serving. Gaels down 1 here in the second set. Crash Parker get underneath it, doesn't matter. So Arenas with another kill, and that's her 5th here in the second set, and it is set point Cornell.
Pretty well camouflaged there as she teardrops that ball down. St. Mary's does get a pancake on it, but no one home after that. So we got Cornell with at least 2 chances to win this second set.
Emma Worthington, she will serve. To Baca, and Baca is blocked. Jada Stackhouse on the near side, and Cornell rebounds from a first set loss, 25-17. They come back to take set number 2, 25-22. As you mentioned, having Arenas out there makes a big difference for the Big Red.
Huge difference, obviously an 8-point difference, but a beautiful block there. They're actually like fronting the hitter, getting in front of the hitter. There's really nowhere for Elena to go there. And those 5-1 rotations are coming out to the left side. If it's not a great pass, they can't run the middle, Alex, so they're coming out the left side. The block just needs to set up well, maybe give a little bit of line. Otherwise, they're taking the angle away. That was a nice job by Cornell. A great win, actually, because St. Mary's came back in that match. It was 20-all, right, or close to it. So good win for Cornell.
The Big Red hit 219 in that second set. St. Mary's just 132. And there was a stretch there where the Gaels were high error. Out of a stretch of 5 points, there were 3 St. Mary's errors, which gave Cornell a little bit of life as well.
It's funny because, like, when you look at that, it was kind of like a mirror image of the first game, right, where St. Mary's kind of gets sloppy, right, at 5-all in the second game, and then but they couldn't come back. Cornell stabilized there at like 15-all and did a great job, won some of the bigger rallies, and made some big plays down the stretch, Alex.
All right, so it is intermission here at McEwen Pavilion, and we've got a good match here. St. Mary's and Cornell tied at 1 set apiece. The Gaels 25-17 in set number 1. Cornell 25-22 in the second. We'll take a break and come back with set number 3 on the WCC Network. Alex Jensen, Andy Schroeder back with you here on the WCC Network, and we've got a good match here, Andy. St. Mary's and Cornell, they're tied at 1 set apiece. The Gaels had a long run in set number one, but Cornell kind of looked like the better team in that second set. What do you make of this one so far?
Well, I think Alex, like last year when we were sitting here for a lot of those close matches, I think that was a pivotal point for the Gaels. They won a lot of those close matches, and I think it really helped them in the WCC. I mean, you've got one here. This is kind of a must-win for the Gaels here.
2 and 4.
Yeah, they got to come back and win. They got to win these next 2 games, and it's like stay in the process. You know, one touch at a time, and just be great in every touch. But obviously, Cornell with Arenas back in the lineup there, they're going to put up a fight here, and Gaels are going to have to resolve here and reckon and get this win somehow.
Well, for those of you just joining us now, Cornell is no pushover. This is one of the better programs in the Ivy League. They've had back-to-back third-place finishes as Crash Parker serves, trying to break up that top 2 of Yale and Princeton, who have been going at it for quite some time. There's a lot of system there. Opening point of the third set, and it goes to the Big Red. And Joanna Chang, the freshman out of Cleveland, she's been pretty impressive so far.
She has. I mean, they're matching their left sides right now, right? Chang and Arenas versus Ashley and Baca. It's a pretty even matchup right now.
Chang serving.
Great pass by Bray.
Alex O'Sullivan, nice dig back there by Shamness. That's off the ceiling. Now that is in play here at McEwen Pavilion. It's a low ceiling. This one goes long as Arenas was looking for the back row. The point goes to St. Mary's thanks to the error. Tied at 1.
Most of the time it comes off that ceiling somewhat true. So Cornell makes a good play there, but
cross court, man, that's a good swing from Arenas right into the back corner.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Alex. Like the gaps in baseball, that ball is tough to defend. You really expect the hitter to hit the back 2 or 3 feet of that court in the corner.
There's an ace.
And this is the thing, Alex, is that the Gaels, they're going to go through some growing pains here as these younger kids get used to the limelight and sticking in this thing.
There's Lily Barber, the libero. There's a good pass by Ashley.
Great pickup by Sienna Young there.
Back row attack, and Bray Ashley, kill number 9, brings the Gaels to within 1.
She had one of those in the second game that I didn't comment on, Alex, that wasn't a swing that she really wanted to, that she wanted to stay away from. She got blocked on that one there. She's on top of it and hitting the ball to her left-hand side off the right-hand blocker. It's a nice swing by Bray there.
Kelsey Knudsen.
It's just too tight of a set.
Young, nice play by Chang, keeping it alive for Cornell. Another nice shot, and that's Arenas again, rolling it in right between the 2 lines of St. Mary's defense.
They set up at about 14, 20, 14, so everything in that kind of 6 to 12 foot range is a tough ball to dig, but it's got some pace on it, right? I'd like to see them come out to Sienna a little bit more and just see if they can't utilize her a little bit more, see if they come out here this time. Nope.
Going to the middle for Laird. Barber picks it up. By the way, Arenas now has 7 kills and just got that one inside the near antenna. And Baca finds the back row. Baca's got 11 kills. That's a match high. And the Gaels back to within 1 again.
Baca not looking like a freshman. Another great swing for her.
Sienna Young serving. Out to Arenas again. And that is in. Just inside the near line. (5-3) Cornell. And Arenas serving. Gaels catch a break there. That's set a little bit behind Joanna Chang. Back to within one.
Actually a good look there, trying to roll that ball in the back corner, but she had about 2 or 3 additional feet on that, more than she needed.
Baca. An ace. That is ace number 6 tonight for the Gaels.
That's what the Gaels have got to do. Put pressure on from the service line. And then play defense, block and play D.
There's a block. Covered though by Barber. Out to Bennett. Throwing it down wide. Gaels on top, 3 in a row. 3rd error of the match for Cornell.
Yeah. Good idea by Jillian Bennett there, but just a little wide. That's what the Gaels want to do, is put the pressure on with the serve. Block and D.
Bennett on the outside. And did the attack hit the antenna? No, the block hit the antenna.
The lefties are always a little bit more difficult to line up. About 17% of the population, the left-handers, so don't see them all the time.
Hey, you had that number dialed up. That one not close off the hand of Jada Stackhouse. Just kind of mishit it.
Just a little bit of lack of concentration, maybe. I'm not sure where I'm going with this serve. I want to see those serves clear the net, at least get somebody thinking about whether the ball's in or out.
Abby Matoso. That is Chang, rather.
Matoso with another nice serve. Matoso wears her dad's number, 23, I guess, who played your sport, Alex, baseball, down at Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo.
Sure did. Tied at 7. O'Sullivan back in there. Go to Bray Ashley, man. When she gets a set that she can handle, I mean, her head is above the tape. There is no stopping that swing.
Crash Parker with just great location there. You want the ball 3 feet in from that antenna, about 3 feet off. You know, Bray is going to just take care of that set. What a great pass by Arenas.
That one through the block of Young.
Alex got to get her hands, just pin it, get her hands over the net there, and that ball is stuffed down for a point.
Joanna Chang again. Another ace.
It's probably Kelsey's ball there, that gap. Actually, you got Sienna hitting left right now, Bray hitting right, and Alex O'Sullivan in the middle.
4 Cornell aces, 2nd for Chang. Tough pass. Ashley sets for Baca, trying to roll it in. Barber covers it, and a free ball now for St. Mary's. And Sienna Young puts it away.
Cornell essentially, Alex, had a free ball there. Really didn't do a lot with it. That's still early in the game, but that was a good chance for them to score a point there.
Tied at 9 here in the 3rd set. 1 apiece, St. Mary's and Cornell. And the Big Red not going anywhere here. Jenna Phelps on the slide.
Big Red, a pretty solid, I would say a very, very solid serve-receive team between Chang, Arenas, and Barber.
Barber libero. Setting for Young. There you go. So you said establish the senior. They go to Young, and she responds.
I mean, she's approaching from almost where we're sitting on the right side, and she's a right-hander. You don't often see that. Sienna Young, just a great teammate, had a great career here.
There's an ace for Kelsey Knudsen, 7th St. Mary's ace. Knudsen again. Before that Knudsen ace, there's an error from Knudsen, the 5th on the night for St. Mary's. Before that Knudsen ace, to your point, Sienna Young, and had the last 2 for St. Mary's, the last 2 points.
Yeah, I'd like to see them get it out to her. And one quick note on Knudsen. Knudsen is still probably, according to Manning Bible, maybe, still not quite back from that ACL, not completely.
It was probably about 11 months ago now.
Yeah.
That was right before conference play. Cross court, there's Knudsen, nice dig, great pass. All over the dump though was Jada Stackhouse. Man, that's a nice play.
Good idea by Crash Parker there, but just a better play by Stackhouse. Got up quick and just threw that ball back into St. Mary's. St. Mary's got all they can handle here, Alex.
That one just long. Emma Worthington tied as well. Yeah, you mentioned they got all they can handle. This Cornell team, like we said, not going away.
Yeah, they're playing loose, passing the ball pretty well, staying in system. Setting's good.
Tough serve from Young.
That's a great out of system set there.
Parker in system, out to Baca, and another block. Stackhouse and Bennett on the far side. Puts Cornell back on top.
So the great thing about this game is, like, you know, Cornell's got nothing going there, right? And St. Mary's has got everything going, and Cornell with a big stuff block to win that point.
Do you think the sets for St. Mary's have gotten a little predictable at times? As here they go to the middle, 3 big red there again. I was just going to say, Gaels have been spreading it to the pins, but here they try the middle, and once again, Boulaire is sent back.
Well, you ask about the downside of the 5-1, and that is the downside right now. There's only, you got Bray out of the back, you also got Sienna out of the back, but front row hitters, you only have 2 right now.
Baca is wide, so Cornell now 3 in a row.
See, in that case there, Alex, there's pretty much, unless Boo comes out here and runs a slide somehow, there's no way of getting Boulaire the ball. The only place that can go is out to the left pin or to Bray Ashley.
Good pass from Ashley. There's Boulaire on the slide, and getting it through the block is Laird. So that breaks a 3-0 Cornell run. The Big Red had taken 5 of the last 6 points. The Gaels now get to within 2 on Boulaire's 5th kill.
That's where I think Boo really, I mean, the slide is something that she's going to have to absolutely master.
Elena Baca serving. Quick set to the middle, and Jada Stackhouse once again throws it down.
Does a great job at that, Jada does. You know, she's a little undersized, but real athletic though.
Stackhouse, the senior out of Milwaukee. Out to Bray Ashley. Once again, Ashley against 2 blockers, and it's long.
And that time there now, Boulaire ran behind, which pulls that middle blocker over potentially, right? Unfortunately, Bray just missed that a little bit. You know, came over the top of the block, but out by a foot.
So Rob Browning's got to call a timeout, and right now St. Mary's in trouble here in the 3rd set. We're tied at 1. The Gaels trail Cornell 17-13 in a very decisive set number 3. We'll take the break on the WCC Network. (17-13) Cornell here in set number 3. Of course, the winner of this set goes up 2-1, Andy. Cornell, they certainly looked the part of a pretty good club.
Yeah, they're playing some good ball.
Boulaire. Was that drawn? You think that was drawn up in the huddle?
Probably right, yeah. I mean, spread out the pins. Again, you don't really have a middle there. She's hitting right, so. These hitters, I'll tell you, the left side hitters in these 5-1s, there's a lot of pressure on them.
So Cornell, the Cornell lead now 3. Abby Matoso. Tough serve and an ace.
So good timeout by Rob Browning. Down 13-17, come back with a pass set and a hit by Boulard, and then now we've got a service ace, making the score now 15-17. Gaels down.
Just over the tape. Man, it's a tough serve. Picked up by Arenas. Here's Chang. Parker. Here come the Big Red. Chang blocked.
Great block by Crash there.
Dump. Nice play. Emma Worthington.
It's tough to defend. You kind of got to look for that first. You really do, Alex. She's showing left side set and just turns and throws it into the middle of the court. Gaels down 18-15. Still in the 5-1 situation here with Alex and Bray swinging.
So he shammed us back. Overpass. And Joanna Chang. Easy money for the freshman. 2 in a row for Cornell. They're back up by 4.
Nice block there, though. I mean, Crash Parker, right? I mean, that's got to go left.
So Hanen off the block. Point goes to Cornell, and now they've got a commanding 5-point lead here late in this third set. See what Rob Browning decides to do here. And that's going to be an ace.
So what they're going to do also, Alex, of course, is they're going to serve the left side hitter, which in this case is Bray. They're going to put pressure on her. So it's like Rob's going to toggle into a 6-2, bringing Alicina in.
Big moment for Alicina Thompson here. Big moment for the game. I mean, they are better in a 6-2.
Could be Selby Christensen out of Kaiser, Oregon now on the right side. The key here now is Alicina with her location.
So he shammed us serving off an ace. Gaels down by 6, and Selby Christensen right into the lineup and right onto the score sheet. Her first kill.
Selby, who went through, I think, some health issues last year, which kept her from playing. A nice play for her to come in totally cold off the bench. Great pass by Bray, and then a nice set by Alicina. Back in system, but Gaels still down 5, Alex, 21-16.
Crash Parker, well, that'll help. That's an ace. That is Crash Parker's.
Now this is where they run, Alex, right? You got Alex in the middle, you got Bray on the left, and you got Sienna on the right, and you got your best server, maybe one of the best servers in the WCC, back at the service line.
She led the league in aces a year ago. Her third ace of the game. That's a nice play. Working into Jenna Phelps on the slide.
I don't like that serving decision there, going short. I mean, if you miss that and go long a little bit, which is what happened, it's an easy pass. I like her hard float into the gut of the serve receive. That's a great serve there. Great dig by Lily Barber. A huge play.
Oh, man. Arenas.
So what's happening there is Crash Parker's vacating her defensive spot. The other 5 have got to defend that shot, right?
So Rob Browning takes his final timeout here in the third set, and Cornell has really taken control of this set. They have scored, well, at one point this was a 11-10 St. Mary's lead. Cornell, since that time, has gone on a 13-6 run. At the right time, they've got a commanding 23-17 lead, Andy. What's got to change for the Gaels?
The Gaels have got to step up on their serve receive. There's no question about it. And also just their guttiness. It's just like this ball's dropping. They just can't drop at this level. There's absolutely no way. And I think in general, the biggest thing is just serve receive. It's like they've got to get that together. And then, start to run their middle a little bit more, be a little bit, a little bit more confusing on where they're going. And then, I think, you got to get Sienna Young a little bit more involved. But right now, Cornell's hitting they're hitting 393. And of course, that last play is a kill. That counts as a kill as well, which can't go down. That ball can't go down. Gaels are hitting 111. And that, of course, deals to some extent with serve receive. But, Cornell's locked into, where they're going, which is predominantly left side. I mean, from the first set on, I don't have the stats here right in front of me, but what Ashley and Elena Baca have 21 kills between the two of them, but they were about that number after the first set, Alex.
Will be Joanna Chang back to serve.
And she's had a big match for them. She's a nice player out of Cleveland, Ohio.
7 kills, 11 digs, a couple of aces, and 4 blocks. There's Sienna Young, and there's a kill.
No margin of error now for the Gaels, down 23-18.
Bray Ashley will serve. Just crawls it over the tape. Another ace for the Gaels. That is 10 on the match.
Bray Ashley has at least 2 of the tape serves tonight, if not 3.
23-19 now. Lily Barber. Quick slide, and once again, Jenna Phelps. And it is set point for Cornell.
Alex, you can't run. I don't even know if that's designed. You can't run any faster. It looks like a mishandled ball. You can't run any faster than that.
Lily Barber serving. Young off the block. Good cover by Hainan. Stackhouse trying to throw it down again. That was off the tape. Gave Young some time.
Cornell going to get a good look here. Yep.
And that's just out, man. That was right in front of us. I thought that might have been in. Gaels catch a break on the error by Stackhouse, and I think they're going to challenge this one here as Trudy Vandenberg. Trudy Vandenberg will challenge this call, and that was right in front of us, Andy. I thought that was in.
Well, Trudy, okay. All right. I mean, right now we got Trudy at 1-0, Rob at 1-0. I'm 0-1, so we're going to give you this one, Alex. I didn't really see it. I mean, I was surprised it went out, though. We'll see what happens here. Wow.
There's some high-quality matches around the West Coast Conference today, Andy, and notable BYU taking on Texas, and the Cougars go down to Texas in Wichita 3-1. Texas winning that one. Pacific, a nice win over Texas Tech. Pepperdine loses to Utah. There's some big names here the WCC has taken on this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Texas just last weekend lost in 5 at Maples at Stanford. I mean, number 1 and 3 in the country going after each other. Stanford beats them 15-12 in the 5th game over there at Maples. So Texas, obviously, very, very legitimate.
Other games around the league, LMU loses to Denver. And for LMU, they're picked to finish 4th, coming off an NCAA tournament appearance last year. That's got to be a disappointing loss in Lincoln, Nebraska. Gonzaga sweeps New Mexico. Portland sweeps Grambling State. Pepperdine drops 1 to Utah 3-1. LMU also beat High Point earlier today.
Gaels in a situation where they got to score 4 straight to stay in this.
That point was upheld, by the way. So I am also 0 for 1, and now this one wide, and just like that, it's 24-21.
This is when Cornell now. You gotta stay in the process here. Forget about the finish line and just finish this game off.
This is Kelsey Knudsen serving, tough serve.
Gonna get a good look here, Alex.
Parker's gonna set for Baca, and the freshman. Kill number 12.
Cornell's going to have to use one of their timeouts here, I would think. Maybe not. That's why I'm over here and they're over there.
Trudy Vandenberg is going to let him play. Tough serve. Nice dig by Chang. The tip is sent back. Dump covered by Knudsen. Now to Baca. Off the block. Nice play. That is Shamness.
It's a great pancake.
And Laird is wide, and set number 3 to the Big Red. And now Rob Browning is going to challenge this. Now I thought the linesman said that was in from the near corner. So Rob Browning now is challenging the play.
I think he's challenging the touch. I've got to say, I don't think there was a touch there, but let's see. So it's the green card. When the green card comes out, Alex, that's the challenge card. A little different than the NFL, I guess.
Can't throw a flag out there.
Right. So we're seeing, this is what the 4th challenge now. This is brand new to us, Alex. It's the 4th challenge.
Well, this obviously a big point here.
Yeah.
If this stays, if this is upheld, Cornell is leading 2-1. If it's reversed, the Gaels are 1 point within extending this match with a good server back there in Kelsey Knudsen.
Cornell, it'll be interesting to see if they do call a timeout here. They're getting their timeout right now, essentially, if they do overturn this. But you're right, it'd be 24-23, and the Big Red is reeling right now.
Out of that second timeout, do you get the sense that St. Mary's is playing with a little bit more sense of urgency?
Yeah, but I think also, I think the Big Red's panicking a little bit here, knowing that this game's on the line.
So the call stands, and set number 3 goes to the Big Red. So Cornell comes into McEwen Pavilion in the home opener for St. Mary's, and they take a 2-1 lead heading into set number 4. We'll take a break, come back, preview the 4th set, and a big one coming up for the Gaels. 2-1, the Cornell lead. They beat St. Mary's 25-22 in set number 3. This is the WCC Network. Alongside Andy Schroeder. 2-1 now, Andy, the Cornell lead. It seems from watching these first 3 sets, maybe 2 pretty evenly matched teams at the moment, but Cornell maybe has executed a little bit better.
They are right now, and in games 2 and 3, they absolutely have. Their left sides have played a little better, and they're running the ball a little bit more to the middle. They're kind of a little bit mirror images of each other. Obviously, they run a 6-2, St. Mary's run a 5-1, but like we said, I mean, Bray has 10 and Baca has 12 kills, 22 kills, but that's kind of where it was after the first game. So maybe they got to move their setting around, or they got to get Bray and pass a little better and get Bray and Baca back in this match at a high level, right?
Now, they really dominated that first set, Ashley and Baca did. But it was the Big Red who have kind of shut them down over the last couple sets. Baca, I believe after that first set, was at 8 kills. She's got 12 right now after 3 sets. That's one off a career high, by the way, but her hitting percentage down to 176. Ashley, on the other hand, 10 kills and 280, the hitting percentage. For the match, Cornell is hitting 200. St. Mary's at 189.
It's pretty closely, it's obviously pretty closely played. And Aubrey Pitts is going to be in this match, it looks like, for Alex O'Sullivan.
That's Zoe Shamness serving, and Gaels a little out of system defensively there. And once again, Jenna Phelps makes them pay. The middle for Cornell has been very efficient over the last couple sets.
You got to be pretty smart to get to the Ivy League. It's just high IQ to push that ball where she's pushing it there.
Bray Ashley too strong. 2-0 Cornell, 18th error of the match for St. Mary's.
An aggressive hitter, she's going to go after it.
So Chandler Cowell sophomore out of Hawaii, checks in for the Gaels.
That's a great touch for her right off the bench.
Great play by Laird picking up the block. Another block and off the antenna, and 3 straight out of the break to Cornell. And they have been all over the net.
Their blocking, that's the other thing, their blocking has got a lot better since game 1.
Out to Cowell, blocked but wide, so Chandler Cowell right into the lineup, and it gives the Gaels their first point of the 4th set.
Chandler Cowell from Maui, up country, Makawao. Beautiful, beautiful area.
Crash Parker serving. Phelps had to make an adjustment in midair there. Free ball, Boo Laird. Phelps again at the net to get a fingertip on it. Laird's tip this time. 7th kill for Boo Laird.
Good rally, good rally by both teams there. It just doesn't seem like St. Mary's has a lot of energy tonight. They're going to have to figure out a way to win when maybe they're not playing their best.
This one get over. It's a free ball, and it's just knocked down by Laird.
I'm not sure what that was. I don't know how to comment on that. Just was at the net. It seemed like for about 30 seconds.
Laird the beneficiary. 3 straight now for the Gaels to respond, and Crash Parker into the net, an aggressive serve.
And Alex, they're back in the game now at 3-4. Joanna Chang has had a great match for the Big Red, back to serve.
This is wide from Chang. One of the few mistakes she's made tonight. So tied at 4. Mentioned the sense of urgency for St. Mary's here. Here's Cowell, that is long.
We talked about it earlier last year, right? And I think St. Mary's serving really got better as the season went on, but that's something they can look to pick up on. That's something they can look to improve on big time from where they're at right now.
Last year, that was one of their strengths.
Yeah.
Arenas, too strong. These teams trading errors now. Aubrey Pitts into the lineup.
Good way to put it, Alex. Yeah, it's not real clean volleyball here for the first 10 points of game 4.
Rob Browning is searching for answers today. Nice tip there by Stackhouse, just over the St. Mary's block.
Well, he told you, right, Alex, this week, when you did the podcast, this is maybe what he feels like his deepest team from 1 to like 13 or 14. His practices have been great. I mean, basically everybody's healthy. He's had such a problem with injuries over the last 4 or 5 years.
Overpass from Baca. Gaels catch a break there. Here's Pitts. Arenas again. Man, she has been a difference maker.
Absolutely. I mean, they're 2-0 with her in the lineup, right? Very, very solid player. I like the way Cornell plays. They just, they're scrappy, pretty much in system. They do a lot of good things.
Sent back again. Stackhouse and Arenas. That's the 11th block for Cornell.
The thing I'd like to see, that one I'd like to see pushed across the left pin because there's more separation there, right? Because the setter's all the way on the right side of the court, Alex.
Baca, that's wide. 4 in a row. Gaels got to be careful here early in this 4th set. Cornell has harnessed the momentum after set number 1. They're on top now by 4. They've scored 4 in a row. Tough serve from Worthington. Overpass out of bounds.
Rob's going to have to call a timeout here or do something to stop this. This kid's got a great serve.
So timeout taken by Rob Browning. And right now the Gaels need a turnaround in this 4th set. 10-5 Cornell will take the break from Moraga on the WCC Network. Alongside Andy Schroeder, Alex Jensen back with you here at McEwen Pavilion. Game 1 of the Bay Area Invitational here at Moraga. And right out of the timeout taken by St. Mary's, an ace from Emma Worthington.
Emma Worthington, who's a freshman who was recruited to a lot of other schools, really wanted to come to Cornell. She's having a great match now. I mean, that's like her third ace, but she's also got 14 assists to go along with Zoe, the other setter, who has 22. And Cornell absolutely in control of this fourth game and in control of this match.
Bray Ashley back in the lineup for St. Mary's, and Crash Parker. That's a tough set moving toward the net, but got it twice. 7 in a row for Cornell.
And where St. Mary's was in system a lot in the first game.
Gaels catch a break there.
Really struggling with the serve receive right now.
So Sienna Young will go back to serve. Rob Browning will have a word with the official. Gaels are down 12-6, and they need to start sustaining some momentum here, Andy, as Young's serve. Chang from the back row. Baca.
Good cover.
Bennett. Is that off the tape? It was not. It was off the block.
The thing is, you get these chances for points. I mean, you have to take it. I mean, obviously, when you're down, you're going to take advantage of them anyway. But when you're down, you have to. The time's running out here.
Back into a 6-2 for Rob Browning. Right. Alicina Thompson and Selby Christensen check in.
Everybody's stacked on the left side. The serve receive is just absolutely let the Gaels down. Aubrey Pitts, who's come in the game, hasn't had a chance to be a factor here because the serve receive just isn't there.
Jada Stackhouse all over that attempted dump by Knudsen. 8-point lead for Cornell, leading 2-1. Nice play, Jenna Chang. She's been all over the place tonight. Cornell now has scored 10 of the last 11 points. They're up 15-6.
It's going to take everything the Gaels have to come back and win this game.
Arenas. Still time. Cornell still needs 10 points to close out this fourth set. And Selby Christensen, kill number 2 for her.
Good swing by Selby coming off the bench there. And she'll stay in the match. So she'll go out the right side. You got Aubrey Pitts in the middle, and you got Bray Ashley on the left. And this is where they got to start doing it, on the defensive end.
Elena Baca, the freshman. Tough serve. Pitts. Chang behind her, can't get it over the tape. So see if St. Mary's can sustain some momentum now. Rob Browning, I don't think he had much of a choice but to go into a 6-2 here, and so far it's paid off.
You kind of got to go 2 for 1, 3 for 1 every time you go back to serve right now. So they got the one. Let's see if they can pick up another one. Baca with another tough serve.
Miscommunication there. That's set from Worthington over the head of Stackhouse. 3 in a row for St. Mary's now. They're back to within 6.
A little too risky probably there, that set with from Worthington. Worthington's had a great match out of Nebraska.
Baca. An ace.
Just like that, Alex. St. Mary's get some easy points they don't have to work for. A little momentum, a little wind into their sails here. See what they can do. Baca's a very nice server. Long, the ball comes right across the top of the net.
Comes Jenna Chang, cross court. Good dig by Knudsen. Bray Ashley. Cornell has been stout at the net. Here's Bennett. Cross court, wide. All right, so the Gaels now with 5 in a row, Andy, and they're back to within 4.
Yeah, playing some ball. I mean, it's Cornell making some mistakes, and St. Mary's playing pretty solid ball, serving well, picking balls up in deep. Great digs by Kelsey Knudsen, by the way.
Just over the tape, Barber there to dig it out. Chang sent back. Stackhouse just got it over.
Huge point here, Alex. Huge.
Bennett's tip. Pitts.
It's over.
And Cornell on the net. The point to St. Mary's. Those 6 in a row.
Trudy calls a timeout.
Well, maybe a ray of sunshine now for the Gaels after being down by 9, Andy. 15-6. They respond with 6 straight after going to the 6-2.
Right.
And that was a gritty point there. It didn't all go right for St. Mary's in that point, but they competed enough to come away with it.
Yeah, nice play by the Gaels there. It's kind of like the wind's kind of been in their face. Now maybe it's a little bit at their back. They're still got a ways to go here, right? 15-12. So, but they have made up some of the deficit. They're right in this game at this point.
Kelsey Knudsen now, by the way, with 10 digs. Elena Baca 2 digs away from a double-double. St. Mary's kind of inching their way back to the positives here in terms of hitting percentage in this set. They're back at zeros. At one point, Andy, they were at minus 188. Cornell at 150.
Yeah, it's interesting because, Rob is kind of, he's the maestro over there. He's kind of pulling all the strings here. He's having to work hard here. A lot of coaching involved in this game. It's a young team. I mean, your left sides are a freshman and a sophomore. Knudsen, the libero, is a freshman. He got 3.
Baca's had a nice run back there at the service line. 6 in a row. She is serving again.
Should get a look here, Alex.
A tough set for Chang. Aubrey Pitts off the block. Barber to cover. Bennett. Man, she's been money for the Big Red when she's got her chances.
Yeah, nice swing there. Nice swing by Bennett. Great touch there by Lily Barber, the libero, too.
Bennett in her freshman year, 2nd team All-Ivy League. Ashley soaring through the air to tip it. Free ball now for the Gaels. Thompson trying the dump. Worthington all over it. Bennett off the fingertips of Pitts, rolling on the tape. Back row attack, Baca. 50-50, Pitts. Nice play. Looked like that ball may have been on the side of Cornell there, but
a tough ball to call, but
I don't believe that's a reviewable play.
You have to. It's got to be pretty egregious for the ref to make that call. We're at 13-16. St. Mary's is one of their best servers, Abby, number 23 back.
Yeah, it's long. Lead at 4 now for Cornell after the service error. Shamness back in, and she will go back to serve. Avery Hainan also in there to the front row.
St. Mary's in somewhat of a, kind of a must side out situation the rest of the way here.
Each team with 1 timeout left. There's a good set for Ashley, off the block.
A nice play, nice set by Alessina. Happy to see her playing well. They need her. Like you said earlier, 6'2" might be the better way for them to go. Have the 6 hitters versus the 5.
Crash Parker, Sienna Young back in there. Parker back to serve. Baptiste, back row attack off the tape and down. Have not seen much of Baptiste in the last 2 sets. A good dig and a good attack from the back row there.
Didn't hold her platform long enough in that pass, which kind of set that up, but a real nice attack off that set, off the top of the tape. It's a good pass by Bray.
Baptiste through the block. Big 2 points for Cornell to respond to that run by St. Mary's. They're back up by 4. Baptiste with 2 straight points for the Big Red. Is there going to be a challenge here? Do they give that point to St. Mary's? I think they gave that point to St. Mary's.
What was the call?
Now the call was that there was no tip. I thought I saw a tip.
Yeah, same here.
So the Cornell is challenging that there was a St. Mary's touch.
Wow. Yeah, we don't have the benefit of a replay camera here in front of us, but I'd like to see that again. But nevertheless, I mean, Trudy's got some depth, right? I mean, this Baptiste comes in, and she's doing a nice job for him, right?
Chang, the freshman. Bennett has played well. Jenna Phelps in the middle.
Yeah.
Avery Haanen started off hot.
And you can see why they were, like you said at the start of the broadcast, third the last 2 years in the Ivy, which is outstanding.
They're picked to finish third, behind, of course, Yale and Princeton.
Yeah.
Princeton picked to come in first, then Yale. Harvard actually picked to finish fourth, got one first-place vote.
Well, Harvard's going to be tough. I mean, Dartmouth is in there, and everybody's tough in the Ivy because you play back-to-back on Friday, Saturday nights. So there's some bus rides, long bus rides, things like that. So not easy.
Wow, they kept the. Now I called that as a point for Cornell. I thought I saw a touch there, and Trudy Vandenberg. Now this is going to be what's interesting to see with replay is how many camera angles do you have? What are the shots like? Because you're going to need definitive evidence to overturn a call on the floor, and I'm not sure you're going to get that with what we're working with here in the West Coast Conference.
They put some pressure on those people over there.
That is, of course, no disrespect. We don't have the benefit of 13 cameras. How about that swing from Sienna Young? So the Gaels are going to take the momentum here as Young picks up the kill.
Absolutely has turned this game around, and they are 100% back in it. In fact, have all the momentum at this point.
Bray Ashley running the slide, and the timing off there between Shamness and Jenna Phelps. And just like that, St. Mary's is down just one. This has been an 11-3 run for the Gaels to get right back into this thing. Ashley, an overpass. Good decision by Boulaird. Out to Young. That's a tough one to swallow for the Gaels.
Sienna Young needs to take that with her platform. Pass that high, get off the net, get that ball into Crash's hands, so you can run three hitters there. And Cornell's kind of got away from their game here, and they just need to continue to do what they're doing.
Young blocked. Nice play by Bray Ashley. Back to Young, and it's in the back row. Back to a 1-point fourth set.
That's where she's got to go with it, Alex. She's got to go down the line. She's going at an angle, and that block's closed off. There's just no way she's going to get that through. I don't care who she is.
Kelsey Knudsen just over the tape, and an ace to tie it at 19.
Not exactly sure why Arenas has been, maybe she aggravated the ab muscle, but she's out of the match right now.
She has not been on the floor, and she is behind the bench right now. A timeout taken by Cornell, their final timeout here in the fourth set. And St. Mary's right back into this thing. As you mentioned, Cornell's given them a couple of breaks. But again, the Gaels are playing with more urgency again. We've seen, it almost seems like that switch kind of goes on and off at certain times tonight.
Yeah, I think the Gaels have done a good job from the service line, but the rest of the damage has been kind of done by Cornell, I think.
Yeah.
So really, they've kind of like self-destructed a little bit. And they were in total control this match at like 15-7. Total control. But this is, it's early in the year. Hey, both coaches are pulling the strings, trying to figure out, how they're going to set up for league. Who's going to be there? Who's going to be playing who's going to be on the court? Who's going to get it done for them?
Yeah, outside of that service line, Andy, the rest of the game for St. Mary's has been pretty inconsistent.
Yeah, it's not a real clean performance by the Gaels at all. That's the way, of course, Rob's teams play. There's a lot of stuff to clean up, but who knows,
Well, they've tied it at 19. They were down 15-6 in this fourth set, trying to force a fifth and final. Kelsey Knudsen serving. And Stackhouse tried to dump it down again, and there is Aubrey Pitts.
We talked about that, or you did, before the start of this game. Where did we see Aubrey? Makes a big play, and a loss, right, Alex? The Gaels were winning 2019.
Knudsen again. Baptiste sent back. Pitts again. How do you like that?
Here comes Arenas back in the game. But if you would have told me, you know how they have that thing on ESPN, you know, the percentage indicator, I mean, 5-7 minutes ago, that the Gaels would be leading this game 21-19.
Well, the crowd's back into it, that's for sure. Quick set to the middle. Pitts got a paw on it. Out to Baca. Arenas, cross court. Dug out, but space was vacated. Knudsen laying out. Cornell ties it again. Or Cornell back to within one, I should say. And Arenas back onto the court and right in the middle of it.
Since the Gaels pulled that off hitter off underneath the block, that 4 areas open. Nice job by Arenas there to hit that area.
Emma Worthington serving. Sienna Young off the block, and it's in. Oh, man. Cornell ties it again at 21. Jada Stackhouse again in the middle of it.
You don't get any more fortunate. That thing lands in the back corner on a great block. I still like Sienna Young's swing there, trying to go line.
Stackhouse has 8 blocks. Timing off there between Parker and Pitts. And Cornell gets the benefit of an error, and they're back up by 1. And Rob Browning's going to take a timeout.
Disappointing there because they got a great pass from Gray off a really tough serve there. Totally insistent, but the connection between the middle and the setter just wasn't there on that particular play.
Well, this next one may be the point of the match to this point. You're looking at a 22-21 Cornell lead. Of course, the Big Red comes on top with this point. They're on top by 2, within 2 points of taking the match. Should St. Mary's take the point, we're tied again at 22. And the Gaels have been very good from the service line.
Right, yeah. It's going to come down to who has the ball last, I guess, right, Alex? I mean, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
By the way, across the bay, USF has swept Utah State in the other match of this event, the Bay Area Invitational. That drops Utah State now to 0-8 to start the year. USF now 4-3, and they're slowly turning things around there on the hilltop.
Got to give, I forget the coach's name over there, but you got to give him credit. You know, he comes in after there had been a lot of turmoil, right? We've documented that. A lot of kids leaving the program. He really has done a nice job over there. Utah State, I think, was up 2-0, I believe, against Portland and lost in 5. Having a little trouble with the WCC. This kid serves the ball well.
This is Worthington. Tough set from Crash Parker. Swing by Baca picked up. Bennett with the tip. Baca again. Overpass. Tip down. Big point. Pitts and Baca were right there. Good defensive plays both ways, Andy. Good point for St. Mary's. Tied again at 22.
Unbelievable. We haven't talked yet tonight, Alex, about the crowd, but for the first match of the year, Friday night, we got a really great crowd here. They're excited. I mean, this is what they came to see. So, okay, so they're going to stay in their 6-2 here. Alicina with a nice serve.
Pushing it to the back. Great play by Bray Ashley to keep it alive. Solo block, Elena Baca. The freshman making a play one-on-one on the near side.
Have you ever played miniature golf where that thing's got to get in before the thing closes? It was like a fraction. What a great block by Elena Baca.
So the Gaels up 1. Quick set through the block. Jada Stackhouse tied at 23.
High IQ swing right there.
We've talked about a lot of players on this Cornell team. Jada Stackhouse she's had an impact on this match as well. Arenas back to serve. Setting to the pin, and the freshman Baca once again, and it's set point for St. Mary's.
So to me right now, I just want to point out Alicina. She's doing a really good job of giving their hitters locations so they can get a good swing at it. Gaels got now point game. Baca's with a great serve, back to serve.
Tough serve, picked up by Arenas. Chang blocked wide.
That's a very, very fortunate play for Cornell. Could have easily been blocked straight down. Give Joanna Chang a ton of credit for swinging at that ball, though.
So 24-24. Remember, you have to win by 2. Pitts running the slide. Gaels are going to have a chance here. How about that swing from Arenas? Out to Ashley. Stackhouse. Chang blocked! Pitts and Christensen. Back to set point.
All right, set just one ball length, a little too close to the net. I love that swing, though, by Arenas from 25 feet off the net to put pressure on St. Mary's.
14th St. Mary's block. Abby Matoso will serve. Crawls over the tape and an ace, and we are going to have a 5th and final set. The Gaels in that 4th set were down 15-6, and they rally and come back and take set number 4 by the final of 26-24, and the last set coming on an ace by Abby Matoso.
Well, a couple things there. 15-6, that's right, Alex, but it felt like probably about 18-0. What a comeback. Way to stay in that game. Incredible serve there at the end by Abby. She's got a great serve. Trickles off the top of the net for a point.
5th and final set coming up here from Moraga. Cornell and St. Mary's tied at 2 sets apiece. You're watching St. Mary's Volleyball on the WCC Network. Moraga alongside Andy Schroeder, Alex Jensen with you here on the WCC Network. Cornell and St. Mary's tied at 2 sets apiece. The Gaels winning set 1 and set 4, 25-17, 26-24. Cornell's sets 2 and 3 each by the final of 25-22. These seem like 2 very evenly matched teams through the first 4 sets, Andy. Really, I mean, it's just whoever's executing better has come out on top.
Right, yeah. No question about it, Alex. I mean, for the current set, St. Mary's hit not even 100. And neither did Cornell. Cornell was underneath 100 as well.
15 combined errors in that 4th set.
Yeah.
And what a set it was. St. Mary's was down 15-6 at one point. Rob Browning calls a timeout. And the big key there was St. Mary's went from a 5-1 into a 6-2, and Alicina Thompson responded.
She was definitely the player of that game. It was a great job by her to come in and do that. It's a tough situation to come in off the bench like that and make those sets. So, you know, we'll see what they do here. I mean, this is obviously a kind of a horse race going to 15, switch at 8, but we'll see what happens. So this is a dogfight. But I mean, I think we said last year that game against Southern Utah when they were down 2-0 and they were kind of reeling a little bit, came back and won that thing in 5 in dramatic fashion. A little bit of a turning point for them. So this is the matches. This is such a growth opportunity for this younger team, you know. A momentum builder, a confidence builder going into Utah State tomorrow night, right?
Well, keep in mind, St. Mary's enters this match at 2-4. According to you, a must-win here tonight. And the Gaels, listen, a tough opening weekend in Salt Lake City. 3 ranked teams that have been ranked at least throughout the season so far. But last weekend they felt like it left some opportunities on the table. So for them to be able to come back here, if they're able to win this 5th set at home, maybe that can be a turning point for them. Crash Parker, a tough serve to start. Jenna Chang from the back row. Here's Ashley, 1-0 St. Mary's, and the first time the Gaels have scored the opening point of a set in this match.
When I say must win, we're talking about like we're looking out to Thanksgiving that weekend when they give the 64 bids away. I mean, you're pretty much in a situation if you don't win this, you're going to have to finish top 2 or 3 in the league.
Arenas. Now Cornell is 2-1. They are coming off a 5-set loss to Hartford. Jenna Chang off the block. The Big Red respond.
Good high swing. Just a little bit different set than that set she got blocked on just a few minutes ago. A little more room to maneuver there.
And Cornell has beaten Youngstown State and Niagara. Sienna Young makes it 2-1, right through the block. Now in set 5, you go to 15 points, still have to win by 2, but instead of 25, it's 15, and halfway through, the two teams will switch sides. 2-1, and an ace! Bray Ashley.
Gaels serving since 15-5. They've done a really good job from the service line, putting a lot of pressure on Cornell.
Gaels have 15 aces. Jenna Phelps from the near side.
I really like Jenna Phelps. Does a really good job in space. Hitting that ball where the Gaels are not.
Libero.
A great pass by Elena Baca.
Barber's serve, and Sienna Young picks up the kill.
You see that one there? They reversed the grain right out, so that pass is on the left side of the court. That ball was flung all the way back to Sienna Young. Sienna, even though that set was tight, she had a 1-on-1 situation and won it.
Kelsey Knudsen. Here's a chance for St. Mary's. Out to Baca. Nice play by Chang. And Arenas, man.
And she gets everything she can out of what she's been given. That's a very impressive, high IQ. I understand why she's an all-Ivy League selection. Special player.
Cornell in their 6-2. Worthington in there to serve, and into the front row is Jillian Bennett. Gaels lead by 1 here in the 5th set. Bennett, the lefty. Good cover by Young. And Baca, a career-high 14th kill. Gaels are up by 2.
Well, Alex, the stats are, that set is 3 feet off the net and 3 feet inside the antenna. The great hitters are going to hit 400. You push that thing tight to the net, they're at 0.
Game of inches.
So that's set to Bennett there. It's just a little too tight. She just can't maneuver it.
Thompson and Christensen in. That was a Thompson serve.
Paid by Lily Barber there. Once again, too tight.
Nice play by Thompson. Bump set. Kelsey Knudsen to Baca.
Ultimately, in these games to 15, when they switch sides of the court, you want to be the first one to 8. Right now, the Gaels are at 6-3.
Baca's come alive over the last few points, and that is an ace for Alicina Thompson. Maybe a coming out party for her here in 2019, and Cornell is going to take a timeout. 7-3 St. Mary's here at set number 5. We'll step aside on the WCC Network. Gaels lead 7-3 in set number 5. Alex Jensen, Andy Schroeder with you here on the WCC Network. Game 1 of the Bay Area Invitational here in Moraga. Tomorrow, Cornell and Utah State will play at 2 before St. Mary's takes on Utah State here at 7. And Cornell drives across the bay to San Francisco to take on the USF Dons. Here's Alicina Thompson serving with St. Mary's leading by 4. They've scored 3 straight. Thompson may be the player of the match in this one, at least to this point. And Jada Stackhouse puts it away. Good response by Cornell out of the timeout.
Great response. For those of you guys that don't think this is a left side game, the ball's gone to the left side for Cornell 60 times, 80 times for the Gaels, 140 between the two of them.
Pitts had to hold up there. Chang through the block, 2 straight for Cornell. Back to a 2-point game.
This kills you as a coach when you have a in-system pass and you just don't get a swing off the middle attempt.
There's Arenas serving. Baca. Arenas there. Chang off the block and down. Cornell out of the timeout responds with 3 straight.
Kelsey Knudsen at 100% will pick that ball up.
Kelsey Knudsen almost a year off an ACL tear. Rolling it is Bray Ashley.
Great play by Stackhouse there.
Christensen sent back. Baca rolls it in. Man, that's an impressive shot for the freshman.
Wow, unbelievable. 8-6 on the switch. Teams will switch sides. We're going to finish this match up, Alex.
8-6 St. Mary's. Elena Baca, kill number 16. You think back to that 4th set, Baca had a huge solo block. She's had 3 kills in this 5th set already. The freshman started hot, and she is ending with a flourish as well.
Yeah, that's a good call by you on that block. I mean, that talk about the turning point. That might have pushed St. Mary's over the edge. We'll see what happens here in the next 5-7 minutes.
Gaels are up to Baca serving. Thompson scrambling up to the net. Quick set, Baca, Ashley blocked, and Knudsen kicked it over the net and into the back row. Unbelievable.
That's got to make the ESPN top 10 tonight.
I mean, she just stuck her foot out.
Right foot cover, it's part of the game, and not just cover, got it with the foot and into the back corner of the court. Point Gaels 9-6.
Bennett tries a tip. Thompson bump set for Ashley. And a net on Cornell. 10-6 St. Mary's. And the Gaels can close this 5th set out, Andy, as Cornell takes a timeout. Imagine the momentum that they can take forward with them. Now, it bears mentioning, after Utah State, the Gaels have 2 matches against Cal before starting conference play.
Right.
It doesn't get any easier.
No, not at all. I mean, you probably got to like your chances against Utah State tomorrow night. I mean, they're going to be hungry, but they're 0-8 to start the season,
yep.
Really? I mean, yeah, they get this one here and then, get Utah State tomorrow night, looking forward 24 hours. But, yeah, you're right. The following week, we got Cal, I think, down there on Thursday, and then
here on Saturday.
Yeah. And Cal's playing some great ball. They're playing some great ball. They got a kid that has had, liver transplant and Hodgkin's lymphoma, and she's back being healthy now. Just an incredible story that they're highlighting around the country. This kid is Samantha Rainey, I think. So, yeah, Sam Crossan, who was coaching here, obviously was down at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Part of that tree that was here, Keegan, Brent, obviously Keegan's up in Washington, Brent's down at SC, and now Sam's up at over at Cal. So.
We were talking about that on our podcast, Rob Browning's coaching tree now. He's got 3 former assistants in the Pac-12.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, really amazing.
So Elena Baca will serve here. Gaels lead by 4. If you're looking for a turning point in this match, it may be that call that was not overturned off a swing by Joanna Chang in the 4th set. It was challenged by Trudy Vandenberg. They go to Bennett. Bennett is blocked, and it's wide. So Cornell gets a much-needed point out of the timeout to make it 10-7.
Smart touch by Bennett there, just wiping that ball off their hands out of bounds to her right. So it's go time for Cornell here, down 7-10, game to 15.
Jada Stackhouse. Bray Ashley off the block and wide.
Great swing for Bray. Then the left sides now, that's kind of the difference, right? The left sides have really come on and kind of come back on middle of the fourth and on through here in the fifth. Baca and Bray Ashley. They've had an incredible match. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's obviously they've got 85 sets. So.
Abby Matoso into the net. Now Abby Matoso's ace ended the fourth set in favor of St. Mary's in extra time.
And I think if she was honest, Alex, I think she would tell you she mishit that ball a little bit. Looked like it came off of the right hand of her the right part of her right hand, and got the trickler over the top of the net to win that fourth game.
Shamna serving. Blocked, kept alive by Cornell. Ooh, yep, that's a double on. Let's see who set that one. I believe it was Shamness.
Going to be tough for Cornell at this point with Crash Parker coming back in the game with Sienna Young. Sienna Young will take over the right side part of the net. Jennifer Boulay in the middle and Bray Ashley on the left side.
Crash Parker with 3 aces today, but she goes long here. So Cornell keeps the door open for the Big Red. It's a 3-point game here in set number 5. What a match this has been. Joanna Chang just over the tape. Nice pass by Knudsen. And Boulaird dug out by Barber. Blocked.
That's a great play all the way around, Alex. A great dig by Lily Barber there. Great dig. Great block by the Gaels.
Bray Ashley ready to go. She's coming off that last block, making it 13-9. Dig by Parker, almost touches the ceiling here. Hainan down the line and wide. So it is now match point.
That ref has had some tough calls over there. Some tough calls. A lot of close ones over there.
Bray Ashley serving for the match. Pass. Baca. Ball game. But the Gaels trailing 2-1. Trailing 15-6 in the fourth set. Get up off the deck and come back to beat Cornell in 5 sets. What a game.
Unbelievable. We had a lot of fivers last year as Rob and Mandy walked back to the locker room. We had a lot of fivers last year, Alex, right? But I mean, this is why you call it a team. I mean, basically, they went 10-12 deep tonight with their players. Great effort by everybody. Alessina Thompson coming in, doing a great job. Really happy to see that. And it could be better in a 6-2. We'll have to see as they go forward, right?
Well, that seems like it was the key, wasn't it? I mean, St. Mary's going to the 5-1, was struggling. After the first set, really struggled to put something together. They go to the 6-2, and all of a sudden you've got a difference with Alessina Thompson stepping up her level of play. Aubrey Pitts made a difference. That seemed to be the difference in the game.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, they really started to come on, and it was a gutty performance. I don't think it was their best performance. They're going to get better as they go along. But as John McEnroe once said, if you're going to be a champion, you have to win matches where you're not playing at your best. You have to pull them out, and that's what they did tonight. It's going to be great for them for momentum and moving forward, just making them a stronger team.
Well, for those of you who are just getting your first look at the St. Mary's team as we were in person, you know, 2 kind of newer rotation players really jump off the page, at least on the attack, and Elena Baca and Bray Ashley. These are players, Andy, that are really fun to watch, and they made a huge impact in this game. 32 combined kills.
much. Yeah, it's unbelievable how many sets they got between the two of them. Almost 90 attempts between the two of them. They're obviously a left side driven team. They're going to have to change that a little bit, try to get the middles more involved. But again, that's going to come back to how well they receive serve and how well they take care of their touches on defense, so they can get the middles and the right sides more involved.
Is the 6-2 something that Rob Browning is going to? You think he's going to start with that tomorrow night against Utah State?
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, we're talking to Manny this week, and I know you talked to him as well. They're a little concerned about Alacina's location, but the location looked really good tonight. You know, I think for Alacina, it's probably a little bit of a confidence thing. You know, you got to put that thing in a 1-by-1 box. It's not always that easy. It's a lot easier from here than it is out there, I'll tell you that much.
As we mentioned during the broadcast, this was a key game for St. Mary's to win, because now they go into facing a Utah State team tomorrow on their home floor who is now 0-8. And with Cal looming with 2 games next week against Cal, you can potentially go into those matches, at least that first match, at 500, as opposed to at least 2 games under 500 if they were to drop this one to Cornell.
Yeah, huge. I mean, I come back in the 4th game being down 15-5 and turning this thing around, and then they had the momentum. They pretty much was their 5th game once they got going here. And yeah, but I mean, being 4-4 going hopefully tomorrow night, if they can get that W, going 4-4 into the 2 matches with Cal, that'd be huge. But if they get split with Cal, I'm sure Rob would be happy with a split, even though he wouldn't say it. But they probably would be.
Okay, so St. Mary's takes this one tonight in 5 sets, 3-2 over Cornell. They win the last 2 sets to do so, and they'll be back in action tomorrow night, 7 p.m. against Utah State. Andy will be back here for that one. I will not, but St. Mary's will then host Cal next weekend. Hope you can join us then. Again, your final score, St. Mary's 3 and Cornell 2. For Andy Schroeder, I'm Alex Jensen. Good night, everybody.
Good night.